Hey, yo, welcome to the W podcast where we have two nuts, but only one glut. It's me, Josh, aka J Saint, with my boy Walnut, the nuttiest of gluttiest. WalnutGlut, how you doing today, Walnut?
Doing great, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing good. We skipped a week. I had a business trip last week, so but it was good. We want to put out good content. We don't want to put out trash. You know what I mean?
And of course, it was Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to you, father of three demon children. But hey,
Exactly. Well, I think the demonist. I don't know. I fucked that up. All right. The biggest demon of them all. He breaks TVs. He pees on floors. He tries to interrupt the podcast. He's taking a nap right now, so we should be good. But speaking of good content, Walnut, I definitely wanted to talk to you a little bit about you today. Because when it comes to content, I feel like out of everyone in CZC, we have some good content creators, but I feel like you bring a different tier to it.
okay, stop. I mean, I've only been able to do this because I've watched other streamers and taken inspiration and even if it's not obviously taking exactly what they do, but like for instance, even the subscreen, you know what I mean? Like I never even thought that was a thing. So bringing in a subscreen from all the other subscreens that I found just kind of brings that little element of fun, especially for smaller streamers. But I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I do not think I could name other members of our group. I can name other streamers that are better. So but thank you. I'll take the compliment.
So the one thing I can say though, you're being humble, you're being modest. Yes, they have good subscreens, but they paid for those.
Right.
I think the greatest subscreen on Twitch right now has to be Ghost of Snowman, but of course he outsourced that. You do everything in house.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing I respect about you. From like you said, kind of first podcast you were talking about, stepping your game up. You didn't have the subscreen, you didn't have a lot of the transitions that you had. All that came from you. Your be back home screen, bunch of walnuts falling out of a sack,
Yeah.
nuts out of a sack. Just the creative, mentality of it. That was the biggest thing. And I know you're in content creation, you're in media, in the real world, outside of the streaming stuff. So
Right.
I just wanted to talk to a little bit today about you and where it all started for you and kind of where it started to click for you.
For sure.
All right. So Walnut, where did it start for you? What was kind of your first inspiration for because we know streaming, other streamers, but where did the media thing start for you?
Well, it's weird because I mean, like personally, I think both of us we're the same age, and if y'all don't know, we
in my late 20s. Hold on, I'm in my late 20s. He's in his early 30s.
We were both born in 1992. There, can you deny that? Can you deny that?
I'm just saying.
Can you deny that?
Get the facts.
92. Can you deny that?
Okay, 92 babies.
Go. So yeah, so even though Josh is still in his late 20s for another fucking 4.5 months, you December baby, basically born in 93, but hey, we'll give it to him. Born in 92.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
You're in your late 20s over here.
Don't do that.
But actually, the funny thing is, we're coming up to the 16th year. I did notice that back 15 years ago, I was all into YouTube. I was literally 15 myself, 14, I guess, technically. But it starts again with inspiration. I kind of watched other people do their YouTube thing. And again, YouTube back in 2007, whatever it is, 2006, 7, 8. My math is not great, but back whenever that was, it's YouTube was like the Wild West, right? Like anything was on YouTube. Things that like were going viral were like just shit videos shot off your phone. You know what I mean? Like now that stuff goes viral on Reddit, but
a paper snake on his head. He's like, I'm a snake. Like that shit went viral.
Yes. And so it kind of all starts from like being like, well, if these people are doing stupid videos, then why can't we? And it actually started with me and my one buddy who, we were big wrestling fans back in high school and back in the day. But we kind of saw these people again, probably around our age, they were playing with action figures and they were doing like these funny videos. And then one day we loved watching them, me and my buddy. One day we went online, every single video was erased. We're like, what the fuck? Like, we were so like heartbroken because we loved going to to YouTube and watching these old videos. So we're like, why don't we just make it ourselves? Like, if they're going to delete it, I don't know why they deleted it. I don't know if the channel got deleted, if they were too embarrassed, like one of their friends found it. Lord knows if my friends ever found this when I was in high school, I would have been like cast out into nothing. But so we were like, yeah, let's just make our own videos. We made one video. It's the first video on the channel. And again, if you go to my Twitch channel and you get 100,000 points, which I know Cody Hollis almost has, crap, you can actually make me watch this video or any video that I have from my past, but this is the most unpopular one because I think it was like a week and then one day overnight it hit 1 million views. And yeah, back in the day, that's basically what you needed to go partner on YouTube, was to get 1 million views. And that was like your benchmark. You can apply for partnership, and then any other view after that kind of would accumulate money. And not knowing anything about it, like, I think we actually had 1.5 million. Like, we had the partnership sitting in our inbox for like 2 months, and we're like, oh shit, like we didn't know anything about it. So we click on it, we applied, and we ended up getting the YouTube partnership. I put it in quotations because back then, I mean, obviously now you need to get your 1,000 subscribers and your 4,000 watch hours. Yeah. Shout out to everyone helping us get that along the way, by the way.
Yes, let's go.
So obviously a lot harder now, but back in the day with 1 million views, so we applied, we got it, but the money was real bad. Like the CPM, obviously anybody who's partnered on YouTube watching this knows what their CPM is. I think back in the day it was like 3 cents per 1,000 view, something maybe even worse. You know what I mean? And we just let it go. And I ended up making $100 off of it before they ended up changing the YouTube partnership. I think they changed to something different before the 4,000 watch hours, but they did remove the 1 million view kind of plateau. So we ended up getting kicked off the partnership, had the $100 sitting in the Google AdSense account, and was just enamored by how kind of the advertising revenue, because there's no memberships on YouTube at the time. Obviously Twitch wasn't really even a thing. It might have been Justin TV at the time, but
it was, yeah.
So it's just like, you know, I was just like, okay, I can't really make money, but it is making money. How do I do this? And I started looking into advertising. So advertising was the biggest kind of push for me, because it's like I saw ads going on the side of my videos, and I'm like, how do I do this? And we applied for advertising school. Took 3 years in college, and again, I think I've mentioned it before on the podcast, but a Canadian college is more attuned to an American community college. Whereas it's not like big. We don't have these like crazy sports teams that rally, people rally behind and stuff like that. So again, took the advertising, went through the program, got out, and it actually was that, and at the time it was 2 million views. That is what got me my first ever job, because people in the advertising world, YouTube is new to them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like now YouTube is just synonymous with advertising. It's something I almost do every day now. But back in the day, it's just like, okay, this kid kind of knows something. So they ended up giving me my internship, and that kind of just propelled me into my career. So again, a little bit of luck, but I mean, obviously putting myself out there as a 14-year-old, getting these millions views, and then somehow getting a job out of it. It's kind of been crazy. I kind of fell into it, really.
Yeah, and with saying that, like just having that it is very lucky to get those views, but it had to be something that was kind of clickable. You saw it as a kid, and you thought, oh, why don't I do it? Because they took the videos down. Right. Maybe that inspired somebody else. Maybe there are other videos like that.
Oh, there is. I could show you. It is actually pretty crazy. Why don't we go to the
I would love to see the 2 million view video.
Oh boy. Well, I'm not gonna play it all. You gotta go to my Twitch stream and get your 100,000 points, or be there when Cody redeems it, because it's a little embarrassing. So
you're a kid. What are you gonna say? You can't make fun of a kid unless their name is Xander.
But again, this is 15 years ago, November 19th, 2006. I think my first guess was correct. It was 2006. So in November, it will be 16 years old. We decided never to remove the video, and I'm not going to play it again, but it is about Matt Hardy, a WWE wrestler. His action figure is having a birthday party. Pretty
Yeah.
simple, right? And that's the funny part about it. If you Google or if you YouTube Matt Hardy's birthday, there are, I think you have to do party. There are a lot of different action figure videos of people doing it themselves. I mean, maybe some of them got, oh, no, more here. Yeah. Again,
So
a
like
lot
I
of things might
said,
come in, but
it could be luck, but then like you said, you and your friends used to like to watch the videos. That video has over 2 million views. So Matt Hardy's birthday party, those are just kind of not copies, but inspired by what you did.
right. And I
And
think
I've seen the video, guys. It's a good watch. You know, like I said, come watch out the WalnutGlut stream. Accumulate those points. It's going to take you a while, so be there.
yeah,
But as a kid too, like I can say myself, I didn't record. I didn't think about doing anything media content creation wise. So that's kind of why I wanted to ask you these questions, because it's something now that I am making content. You know, we are doing the podcast. You know, I do stream very little, but I do stream when I get a chance. But it's very inspiring. And like I said, inspiring. But it's one thing I respect about you, and I lack respect for other people. Not people who buy their stuff, because of course, you know, not everybody can do what you do.
right.
You know, you've been trained in it. You've been doing it for a long time, and it's not easy. Trust me, I've tried. I've done a couple of things. It's not easy. But with saying that, so going from there to advertising, what's the difference between making your own content and taking ideas from like someone, like even on Twitch, like not even just like your job, but like on Twitch when someone's like, "Hey, I want this emote with this." I know they kind of give you a gist of it, but what do you take from that? What goes through your brain?
Well, so sorry, when you're saying I'm making my own
Oh no,
content,
not from your own, but like from someone
right,
else. So like from either, you know, your job, or
right,
like I said, someone hits you up and they're like, "Hey, Walnut, I'll pay you 50 subs, or you know, I'll give you some these for this."
right. Well,
Um, you know,
I
what goes
guess
through your brain?
yeah, I guess the first thing is I'm my own worst critic. You know what I mean? So like if I'm making something for myself, or how embarrassed I am to watch, you know, an older kind of video of me playing with action figures, it's like, you know what I mean? Like I think um the little bit of self-confidence that I have of like, you know, or maybe that's not the right word, but of like, you know, trying to reassure myself and tell myself that these things are the right thing to do, or obviously, you know, making that video and keeping it online for it to, you know, get to 2 million views was the right thing to do. But you know how many times I've wanted to delete it in case somebody found it, or even when it comes to my starting screen, I just kind of found these videos of these really high def walnuts and somebody's like zooming through them, and
Yeah,
I know Crawdaddy was like, you know, oh, it's one of the best starting screens I've seen, you know, because it's so
it is.
HD, and it's so, I'm like, but you know, for me, I just kind of, I don't know, I just found the video, I just found, you know, I kind of animated that text in, but it's not great, it's not my favorite animation, like I wish I could do better animation,
Yeah,
but I can't, so it's just kind of like, I don't know, is what it is. But like, if you go to R Hickey 28's YouTube channel or his Twitch stream, you kind of see all of his overlays. A cat's out of the bag. I did help him make those overlays, but you know, when I showed it to him, he was in love with it because it was just
yeah,
like he can't do it himself. Obviously, he did pay me, but he was just like he was enamored with it. His you know, his girlfriend loved it, and it was just like, okay, so it was good. Like, I mean, in my mind, I was like, is it too generic? Is he gonna like it? Are the colors right? You know, so if I made it for myself, I'd have all these questions, but I wouldn't have the answers. Whereas, you know, when I sent it to Hickey, I was like, I don't know what he's gonna think. Immediately
yeah.
loves it. He puts it everywhere. It's his brand now. And I think it's kind of like I have that sense of pride that, like, you know, he's using it and he loves it so much. And I mean, I told him not to tell anybody that I made it, because in advertising, you don't really get credits. Like, you know, if you make a movie or you make a TV show, at the end of it or at the starting of it, you see the names of the people who made it, right?
Yeah.
You never see that in advertising. We are kind of in the background all the time. We never really take credit until we do our own little award show for ourselves. That's the, you know, our own little pat on the back. But
Here for the Golden Nut Award,
well,
WalnutGlut.
and I don't think most people know that, but there is an award show every year for advertising. There's one in Canada. It's the Advertising Award Show. There's one in France. You know, when do you know Cannes, the film festival? and all that kind of stuff?
No,
They
never
like
heard of it.
it's a film festival in France, and it's like they get all the celebrities to come in, they give them awards. It's basically like the Oscars, but like a little bit different. I think maybe it's more for the creators of these things instead of the actors. But all the
Okay.
actors are pumped through just, it's about this show, so here's this actor. A week after that, all of us advertising schmucks roll through and we have our own little award show. And it's literally the same thing of like, okay, so this ad had a great impact, it had a lot of people talking, it wins gold.
Okay.
Yeah,
And does
so
the team get the award, or because like
yeah.
I know like I know just talking to you a little bit, you work with a team, right? Like you guys have a
Oh
sound
yeah.
person, you have a you know
Yeah, there's no way I could do all this shit by myself. Like, there's a whole, anytime you see an ad, there's at least, and probably at minimum, 10 people who have worked on it. And that is the bare minimum. I would say
okay.
maybe 15, 20, depending on the production value of the thing, up to 50 people that work on one single ad. So yeah, like when the award goes out, it goes out to everybody, and it kind of sits at the office. Rest in
Okay.
peace, offices. I haven't been in office in years.
RIP office.
Yeah, but it kind of sits there, and it kind of is your little like mantelpiece that when you walk by, you remember that you did that. And even if you didn't do that, even if you're somebody who didn't work on the project, you're working at a place that wins awards. So it kind of gets
Yeah.
you pumped up to be working there. Like maybe one day I can win one.
Yeah.
In my mind, it's all kind of a load of shit because it's just like it's just something that makes us feel better because nobody cares about it. Everybody hates ads, right? Like I even hate ads when somebody subs to me. I say, here you go. You enjoy the emotes, and the best part is you don't get an ad anymore because whenever you go on Twitch, you get fed the same 4, 5, 6 different ads, and it's annoying to me. So I can't imagine somebody who doesn't work in the industry. It's probably 10 times
Yeah.
worse.
Well, I do think that most people do hate ads, but I think it's because you're seeing the same shit all the time.
Yeah.
So like the stuff that you've made, I guarantee no one here has probably seen it before, but
For sure. I could
it
even
might
like
have been
let me oops. So let me show you because I mean we kind of looked at the videos,
Matt
and this
Hardy.
was me playing with it. There is kind of videos, and again, they did pretty well, right? It's just like 44,000 views 15 years ago, and it's
Yeah.
like I did a lot of like stop motion stuff, right? Like, and again,
Yeah.
this is just on like a webcam, and it's not very good stop motion. Like I've seen a million billion better stop motions, right? Like
Yeah.
this is just a kid
But
with a
for
webcam.
15 years old with a webcam,
Yeah, it's
I'm 20. I'm in my late 20s, and I couldn't do this with a regular camera.
um and again, like I don't know, it was just part of the inspiration that I found because I seen other people do. Stop motion was huge back in like the mid to late 2000s,
Yeah.
because it was almost anybody could do it. I kind of learned how to do it, and boom. But 15 years ago we also had backyard wrestling. I have a whole channel of backyard wrestling. Pretty
All right.
great.
So the backyard wrestling came after the those videos there,
Pretty much,
or is
yeah,
this like
because
same
these are
time?
all 13, 14 years ago. So that would have became after, after all this stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's like I wanted to move away from playing with toys because it's like
Yeah.
that was not something I wanted to put out in the world and say, hey, look, guys, I made this. It's me with my little squeaky voice playing with action figures. Like, no, like I it's too embarrassing. And again, don't get me wrong, this is fucking embarrassing too. Like backyard wrestling of these teenage, like, no, it's not good. Like it's
Well,
bad. It's
but
backyard
this is
wrestling.
the content though.
It's
This is
content. And then we also, me and my one buddy, and again, around the same time, this is one of the dudes that was in the wrestling thing. We became good friends and kind of took that inspiration of other people's contents or other people like who have other people that put out content. And I think now that I'm remembering it, the biggest influence for us was Smosh. I don't know if you remember Smosh.
It's Smosh. They do like skits, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's like so that's kind of what we did. We here's a V8 juice commercial, a marshmallowing contest, which actually might be my favorite video out of all of it. Only 800 views, so the views didn't come on this. Didn't happen on this channel.
Yeah.
The views again probably pretty shit over here as well, 200ish. So obviously the moneymaker was from the toys, but it was the one that I was least pumped to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, that's kind of where all the content kind of came at once and kind of propelled me into advertising. But I've got to do some pretty decent stuff in advertising too. If you've ever been to my Twitch stream, you kind of know the infamous Aaron Sanchez spot, right?
All right,
Let's get back to the game. So I mean, we could just.
Kaylee of Winnipeg asks, "What is WestJet Rewards?" Here's Aaron Sanchez in an ice bath to explain.
So it's a full ad.
Thank you. The more you fly, the more you earn with WestJet Rewards. And you earn WestJet dollars, not points, so it's easier to understand just how much you can save.
Here it is, the infamous.
Okay, we can go back to the game now.
If you ever been to a Walnut stream, you know that video. You know that video. And a lot of people, like, I guarantee next time you stream and you play that, just be like, who knows who made this video?
Right.
And I guarantee, the OGs will know.
Well, there's nothing that says it. Like I said, like nothing that comes up. It's just, a fucking sky. Like nothing that says, nothing that says I was there. Nothing that says I helped write it. Nothing that says anything,
And where were you there? Like you're kind of.
This is in Florida.
Okay, so were you in Florida for that, or
this was at because we couldn't shoot at the Rogers Center, like it was just too expensive, and the Jays were in spring training at the time, so this is at their complex in Florida.
Okay, so how does that work? They just kind of like fly your whole team out there?
Yeah.
Okay,
and
all right.
And again, like even some movie magic, like he's not sitting in an ice bath here. This is really warm water, and these are all little plastic pellets. Like just a little.
So he's a fraud. He's a phony.
He's a phony.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe that. I didn't know that. See, and that's the crazy thing. If you would have asked me, click off the box. For some reason, it's no. I go back. Sorry, we can probably cut this out. You see? Okay, there we go. I don't know why it keeps doing that.
They won't be able to see it on.
Okay, cool. Sorry. I saw you when you clicked off early. You said, "Oops, my bad. Cut this out." But yeah, okay. So back to it. So I wouldn't have known that ice was not real.
Right.
So when it comes to that, you're kind of looking at what it looks like on camera afterwards, or what?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just part of the movie magic. Like if you take warm water and you put these little, I think they might even been fake ice cube, like little plastic fake ice cubes that were like a little squishy. And then you dump that in there. It's movie magic, right? It's nobody knows that this is fake ice. It looks real. Like with the lighting and shit shining off it looks like real ice. He is in water, so he is wet, but it's not cool. It's very warm with very warm water.
Okay. I wouldn't have known that. Like you ever see the commercials where it's like a pancake and it looks like syrup, but it's motor oil or something like that?
Yep.
So have you done stuff like or have you seen stuff like that?
I've done it once. I've done it one time when I did, and I don't know if I have it on here. Just give me a second. I think it might be. No,
this summer, get together.
It's close to this one though, where they're like they're taking a Tostito and they're pulling it out, and we wanted a nice cheese, but like cheese actually doesn't do that well, so it is glue. It's white like glue, so you can't eat it afterwards, obviously. Oh, and by the way,
I hate the behind the scenes.
Okay? This is how you do. This is a professional person doing stop motion instead of me. But I had the idea of like that's me bringing back my my past into the present. At the time when we worked on Tostitos, we did a little thing for the Super Bowl where we did some stop motion.
Well, you look at that, you look at this, but then you look at what you were doing as a kid,
right? And
you can kind of see the correlation of you were doing it on a webcam, and I couldn't imagine that webcam was more than $100.
That webcam was $15, I think.
see, and that's the thing. And that's what a lot of people don't realize about streamers and even some YouTubers. Like a lot of these guys are doing this stuff off of equipment that's, they're spending maybe a couple $100, and then you have the big guys that are doing, they have thousands and thousands of dollars worth of equipment. And that's one thing about you. I know you just bought a PC. Finally, we've been talking about getting you a PC
first time
for
ever, baby.
Years. Yeah. You know what I mean? But you can tell that when you have better equipment, when you have the access to the equipment, how it makes your life a little bit easier. I don't know if you can say that, like, because it made your life a little easier.
I think definitely. I mean, like I've seen people using, and I wouldn't say about the equipment because like whether it's a computer, whether it's a MacBook, like I've worked on a full size Mac for like 7 years, and then I got a MacBook for another 5 or whatever the math is, and then I finally just got an actual PC. But I only got the PC for streaming purposes, because when I streamed off of my laptop, I would literally start stream at 100% battery. And if I streamed for, I think I had a 6-hour stream on it once, I looked over at the battery level and it was at 10%. So throughout the whole 6-hour stream, while it was plugged in, by the way, obviously I couldn't stream for a fucking minute with it not plugged in, but while it was plugged in, it used 90% of the battery. So I'm like, do I have to get 2 chargers, plug them both in for it to work? And I'm like, I might as well just get a PC at this point. And then, but I don't think it's the hardware itself. It's more the software. Like, I've seen a lot of people using free programs. I know you use Canva to make all of your emotes and stuff like that. And hey, shout out to Canva. Sponsor us if you fucking want.
Yeah,
shout out to Canva.
Twice now.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Canva for like at least allowing people to do it for free, because I think what you have done, it impresses the fuck out of me. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't shake your head at me. I actually get impressed, because it's like, you've done your starting screen, you've done your emotes, you've done everything. Like, it's like you've done it all yourself when you could have paid for it like everybody else. Yeah. So, or, you know, you could have bugged me, but you hate my emotes so much that you don't want to use me.
No, we talked about this. I don't want to feel like, you know, you're when it comes to the group that we have, you know, the CZC, just even before the CZC, the group of friends that we have, you know, me and you, we're roughly the same age. Like I said, just a little, you know, they're late.
You're born in 93. I get it.
Yep. So with that, it's just like, you know, I know growing up myself, you always run into those people, especially when it comes to the content. You know, when we first met, you know, you always have that, you know, these are my friends, but let's see what this guy's about. And I know you came and you actually looked at my content, and you were like, okay, when you told me, you were like, yeah, this guy, you're good. You're going to be good. Keep doing what you're doing. And for me, I was like, well, shit, if he's telling me that, you know, I don't want to basically be like, oh, well, you said I'm good. Let me get everything. You know, you hook me up with this, hook me up with this, hook me up with this. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to take advantage of a person like that. Like I said, we talked about this before. But I know, just talking with you, you want to work on your stuff, your content.
Yeah.
So if I'm asking you for stuff, that's taking away from you being able to work on you.
Right.
And I feel like that's one of the most important things as a content creator is you never want to just stay in one spot.
Yeah.
And I think that's where some people, they think, oh, I'm doing good because I'm, you know, being consistent. But you can be consistent, like you showed the videos. You have videos where you love doing it and it was something you wanted to do, but it doesn't always correlate to views. It always doesn't add up.
Right.
You know what I mean? You wanted to get away from playing with toys because you were 15. Of course, you know, your walnut gluts got a little bit bigger. And you were like, I want to get away from the toys and get more into the content, stick into the same realm, but go into the content. So that's another thing I wanted to kind of talk to you about. Compared to when you were a kid and you were making that just the stop motion and you're like, oh, I saw that, I want to do that. Do you think you kind of think the same way now as a early 30s man when it comes to content? Do you see something? You kind of said it, but do you see something you're like, I want to do that, but I'm my biggest critic, so it has to be perfect?
Yeah, and I think it almost comes down to what I was doing before I found Twitch. And I can give you a little look at it. I know you've personally seen it because I've sent it to you before. But I mean, I did these 5 videos, and when I was working, and so I kind of took the content that I wanted to make. In the pandemic, I was really into video essays. I was really into like documentary styles, and you know, as you all know, I've done 2 documentaries in the last 2 episodes. So I mean, like I'm so into all that kind of stuff that I'm like, why don't I just do it myself? But what do I want to talk about? What do I know the most? I know about ads the most. So I created the advertising cinematic universe because no matter what, it's kind of like a little bit of advertising always touches pop culture. And I think the best look at this will be from The Magic of Baby Back Ribs. And I'll only play the first part here, the Chili's in pop culture.
Look at you. Did you make that intro scene yourself?
Yeah, I made everything. Yeah.
Oh, see, look at that.
Yeah, I know. And I think it comes part of the process of like, I don't know if I dove too far into the production value of my videos, because it's like, this is obviously kind of the stuff that took the longest, and in the end it didn't really make a difference. Like, it didn't, doing this stuff didn't get me more views. I think it might have been, well, I'm good at writing it, and well, I'm good at editing it, like doing all the editing stuff and doing the voiceover. I think where I really failed is the writing, because I was trying to do it too formulated. Like, I was really trying to get a script down. I was trying to read the script, when I think what I really needed to do was just have fun with it and critique these things or talk about these things in a way. But I think this video kind of just proves the point of why I wanted to start this, was because of the Chili's baby back ribs jingle. And I don't know if you know it, but it's I want my baby back ribs.
Chili's baby back ribs.
Let me just go to the bit, like the actual meat of the video here.
Did somebody say baby back ribs?
So this is all in pop culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, baby back.
Ribs. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back ribs. Cheers.
Please, baby back ribs.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. Dear God, what did they say? Ribs? Never. They never say ribs.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. Okay, I see your point.
So I think that's really where it all kind of stemmed from, was like, even this one song, when I noticed it, like, I've seen that Office episode where they sing it, and I think I was even watching 1,000 Words in the background of something, and it's like I hear the song, and I've known it in Austin Powers, and it's just like this crazy kind of whirlwind of, like, it's an ad, like the song is an ad. It was in all of their ads in the early 90s, and it's like, and then all of these other kind of like pop culture things picked it up. So I was like, there's a little bit of advertising in our everyday lives. And I mean, if you come to my stream, obviously, if you follow me, you're gonna love my nuts, which is from the slap chop commercial. When I go to my sub screen, I play 3 ads that talk about nuts: the Planters, the slap chop, and then a random ad that says the walnut is 16 feet high. And then obviously when we go back to the game, you see an ad of Aaron Sanchez. Okay, it's time to go back to the game. But I think the biggest thing is these things don't feel like ads, right? Yeah. Like, even the "you're gonna love my nuts," it's all about, like, I'm Walnut, so it's like, you're gonna love but it doesn't feel like, oh, I'm being sold something. Because I'm not saying, oh, hey, it's Vince with slap chop here. Like, I don't care about that part. I care about the again, like, even obviously Chili's baby back ribs, they're selling the song and they're selling the product, but it's just like, they don't care about that part. It's just that catchy song. So it's like, when you're thinking of a catchy song, that's why, Fat Bastard sings it in Austin Powers. That's why Jamie Foxx was singing it in his show. It's just like these catchy little things, and it somehow worms our way into pop culture. So I thought it was just really interesting. Yeah. But apparently it's like, I don't know, again, like, I think I maybe because I think each video, again, I only put out 5 videos here, but I think each video took me anywhere from 10 to 20 hours to make. From obviously like thinking of the idea, writing the script, finding all the videos to put into it, recording my voice, and then editing it all to make sense. And
then a lot of people, like, that stuff, it looks simple. It looks like, oh, they're just playing all these different clips of these, all this media doing the same thing. But that seamless transition from Jamie Foxx show to Austin Powers to this, you didn't see a cut. You don't see that stuff. And I think that's the levels to it. Like I said, of course, like you said, I use the free, shout out Canva, you can sponsor if you want to. I use the free portion of Canva. They have a premium version that you can get into. But the software, like you said, it's different. I have the hardware. I've had a PC for so long. I built a PC years ago before it was cool. You recently got a PC, but you had the software to do it on your Mac for a long time, because this is what you do. You know what I mean? That's what you do to make the money, pay the bills, of course. But the level at which you do it is so high. Yeah. I could probably do that in a year. What took you 20 hours, it'll take me 3 weeks.
Right. And it kind of like is funny, because back in the day when I had the videos, it's like I was doing it all. And I mean, am I doxing myself? But I did it all on a pirated program, right? Like Photoshop was $499 US. I'm a 14-year-old Canadian kid, so how am I gonna find, whatever that is in Canadian, $650 $1,000, whatever it is. No,
Yeah.
but it's like but when I got into the advertising world, it's like that program is needed for everything, so they just kind of give you the program. So when I did these videos in the pandemic, I had the programs already, for me, and it's just like, I guess it's kind of a hack in a way to get them yourself.
Yeah.
But I think even now Adobe, it's not even that. It's okay, $50 a month is pretty steep, but if you can somehow get you on yourself a student plan, if the student plans run for I think $19.99 a month, and Adobe, if you also want to sponsor us, go ahead.
It's probably not going to happen, but if you want to,
whatever you want to. No, so it's but I would honestly go for the high end programs, the ones that everybody's using, and they're using them for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know there's a lot of free programs out there, like obviously Canva and DaVinci Resolve and all the kind of stuff that everybody who's just starting out uses. I think I got a little bit of a break by having the proper programs that I know what to do. But I don't know. I just think it's interesting. And again, I think maybe I went too hard on the production value of these videos when I should have started and made it more about me. And I think that's what I love so much about Twitch, right? Like, you go live, and obviously the whole, like, when I lost my job in the pandemic and I started these videos thinking, man, if just one of these videos can go viral, like, I'll be set, right? Like, I would love to make these videos for a living. And if I could do, like, and knowing advertising, if I could just push it, if it was started making a little bit of money, I could put money into it to make my life easier by getting somebody to edit it. So all I'm doing is writing and recording, somebody edits, and I get that off my plate. But I had to get there first, right? So it's just like, I don't know. But at the same time, it's like, then when I put out these videos, again, these videos looked attractive to clients that I now have. It's like, I kind of showed them, like, look, I did all this myself. I know that's not really what your ad is going to do, but this is the kind of drive that I have. And it looked interesting to a lot of bosses. And it's kind of how I started my own side business of, like, I don't want to work for anybody anymore. Like, I don't want to work full time, but if you want me to come in for 4, 5, 6 weeks and work on a project, happy to do it. And that's kind of what it started. So it's almost like Twitch, where it's like, if I'm working on somebody's stuff, it's a project for me. I'm not making overlays. That's not my job, but I'm happy to do it for Hickey because it was just something cool to do. I don't make emotes as my job, but if somebody, if Ghost wants an emote and I think I have a good idea for it, no problem making that either. So
that's kind of the thing, is you have no problem doing it. And I know, we talk all the time. You have your, like you said, your 6 weeks or 2 months, which another 2 weeks. I should have just said 8 weeks. Your 6 week, 8 weeks where you're on a contract where you have these businesses reaching out to you to kind of get work from you. And like you said with the advert, there's a little bit of advertising and everything. And your stream, when someone follows, say, oh, you're gonna love my nuts. Say someone's watching a YouTube video and they're like, oh, maybe it's a funny compilation or something like that. And then it's they hear the ad, that Slap Chop ad, and you're gonna love my nuts, and they're like, oh, that's Walnut.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So, and that's where those ads come in. I think, like you were saying, when you're looking in media, you see Austin Powers and you got Fat Bastard going, baby back, baby back, baby back. You immediately think of Chili's, even if he doesn't finish the song, like the last one with those old guys. Are they ever gonna stop and say baby back ribs?
Yeah.
No, because you know how it goes.
Right.
But kind of to touch a little bit, I know, shout out Mook Dog. I know you're gonna be on the Mook Dog podcast coming out sometime this week, same time, same week as this podcast. So maybe we'll beat him to the punch a little bit. But one thing I wanted to ask you about, that I love, everyone loves, the voices, the Walnut voices. I'm not gonna ask you to do a bunch of voices right now. But I know we talked maybe 6 months ago, before the house buying stuff started, and I know you have a little bit of a passion for that too. Making these characters and maybe even doing some voice work, on some content.
Right.
What about that inspires you? Like, what kind of brings that passion about those voices?
Well, the weirdest thing about the voices is, like, I don't know, it's something I kind of fell into, right? Like, it's it must have been the movie guy voice, because, and again, I do mention this on the Mook Dog podcast, but it's like this one, and again, it comes from advertising, because, like, we do a lot of shit for each other in advertising, like, to make it, just a little special, because we have people that do different all different sorts of things. So one year it was on one of the editors' birthdays that we that was working in the office, and we decided because he's an editor, we would make him and he loves horror. He loves horror films. So we decided to make him a horror trailer of his whole kind of like career, like who he is. It's the editor. He likes to make cuts, right? So it's like, and when I wanted to do a pass of the voice, because I'm like, oh, a deep voice, and my boss at the time, he was a former actor, a former commercial actor, former kind of like voiceover guy, and he was like, yeah, if you want to give it a shot, go ahead. And then I came back with in a world where everyone is I just tried to bring my voice down as low as possible, and that's not what you're supposed to do, right? So it's like I don't know at one point I was just listening to different movie guys, and I don't even know how I did it. It just kind of came out of my mouth, and I'm like, it just happened. It was just like, in a world where everyone is watching you, and I'm like, I don't know how I did that. I kept doing it, and it just kind of like, it kind of snowballed. So it's like, it's this weird kind of like found passion, and I know you kind of talk about passion a lot, and it's just like, I don't know, it kind of correlates with Twitch, where I've never really thought about being a voice actor. I never thought about being a streamer. I'm always in the background of things, so I'm like, it could be interesting kind of with voice acting. You have to put yourself out there because you're in a room with all these people watching you. But when somebody else watches it back, they see a different person. You know, they see a cartoon character, they see a whatever. Excuse me. So it's just like, I just kind of like that thought of having that kind of like, you're still in the background, but you're still, you know, the voice. And then when I pull it out on stream, a lot of Ayo again. Jesus. When I pull these voices on stream,
it comes out his mouth.
when I pull the voices on stream, it's like a lot of people, you know, I know Splash out there, he loves the grandpa voice. He does it every fucking stream. A lot of people click the movie guy voice. I'm trying to add new Canadian accents. I know Lou wanted me to do an Italian American, and I kind of failed it. But you know, we work on these things. We get better. So I think, I don't know, there's just some kind of passion there for I think finding a love for something that I never thought I could do. Whereas like, you know, you've seen, I've been doing kind of content and production stuff since I was 14, that I'm just like, this is different. This is new. This is exciting. And apparently like I'm half decent at it. So I'm like, I don't know.
Brother, you're like, so I would take your video editing and all that is up here. You know, where's the fucking, there it is.
Yeah.
All right, this is your video editing. Your voices are right here, bro.
Right there.
Like right here.
Close. I gotta work on, and that's what I love about Twitch, because it gives me an outlet to actually practice the voices.
I will go and assassinate the voice of Master Roshi right now, because Grandpa Nut is basically
Master Roshi.
That's my favorite. Okay. But I know we did, you showed me some stuff too before. I'm not going to ask you to show it now, but you did a couple other voices, and you was like, what do you think about that? And it's crazy to see, because it all comes back to content. We were talking about it the other day, and I talk about passion a lot, because it's the reason I have an obsessive personality, and I get passionate about things for a little bit, then it might drop off, and then another thing and another thing. For me, just outside looking in, it seems that content and media is the biggest passion for you. So that's all of that, the videos, the wrestling, that stop motion, the cinematic, just like you said, the start screen, how you got an HD video and you put some letters over it. But there's not only that. I've tried, I've made some start screens. You got to think about when you're going into that software, the shadows have to be in the right spot. The color of the background of the inside of the B for the B right back is a different color, and it's a different section on each thing. So you don't sell yourself short when you say, I just took a HD video and slapped it up. Because a lot of these commercials, a lot of these other people that do this, the same thing as you. They're just taking a template and they're just making it their own. Right. And I tried to do it. I didn't get it. I took the easy way out. I made some easier things. But I do want to kind of learn about that stuff. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to bug you about it, because I want you to keep, bettering yourself. Yeah. But it goes to the voices too. Like, your voices are phenomenal. And like I said, you're top tier when it comes to voices. The only voice that I know, one individual that they can do better than you, is a Stone Cold voice. Shout out Cody Hollis, that fucking Stone Cold voice. I think it rivals. There's this guy on TikTok. He does the Stone Cold voice, but him and Cody Hollis are top tier.
Well, Stone Cold ET is, I guess, up there too. But
yeah, It's just for the amount of time that they do it. Like you do 2 minutes of the movie guy voice, and your voice is probably shot after that.
Yeah, the movie guy voice probably takes the most out of me. I feel like the more I do it, though, the less, like, when I first started streaming and first started pulling it, like, after pulling it out, God, I gotta stop talking so sus, bro. When I pulled the voice out,
movie guy in a world where I
After-
slap my dick on the table.
well, I remember after stream, like, you know, talking to you guys, I'd be like, yo, my voice is shot. But now I
Yeah.
can do at least, like, you know, 3 or 4 times a stream. I don't even think it bothers me anymore now that I think about it. Like,
Yeah.
but I
And
think
you
I
have
also
other
changed it to
voices.
2 minutes because it used to be for the half inning. I would do it for the whole half inning. I think changing it to 2 minutes was the move for sure.
Maybe exercising the voice, because sometimes those
Yeah.
those half innings can get a little long.
Oh yeah, especially when
just
you give up 10 runs.
Who are you talking about? Who the
me,
who?
me.
Oh,
me,
okay.
me.
I thought you were talking about, literally, as soon as I
Who
got
are
on
you?
stream the other day, yeah, I gave up 10 runs to the first guy I played, and I was like, I might be a little intoxicated.
Might be, yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. Let's not talk about me. Let's talk more about you. All right. Anyways, so the voices are phenomenal.
Yep.
So one thing I want to ask you too. So I know we just started the podcast. You know, it's episode 3. It's gonna be fire. We got
Yes,
got 4 more ready in the chamber. You know, planned that we already know we want to do.
Mhm.
Where do you see yourself? You know, when it comes to your content, and you know, where is like a goal for you? I like to set goals. So like, what's a goal for you? What do you think is attainable, and what would be like best case scenario, worst case scenario?
Well, I think the goal right now is, like, I think what I'm doing is, if you told me a year and a half ago, because I've been streaming for about 13 or 14 months, if you told me a year and a half ago that, oh yeah, you know, look into streaming or this or that, like, I would have been like, you're crazy. But it's like, but now that I look at it as a goal, it's like I'm streaming, I'm trying to get back into a little bit of a schedule. We both know the podcast has been one of the biggest things. I mean, I think we brought it up 3 months into knowing each other.
Yeah.
And then we started it a year later. So
Yeah.
it's, I don't know. To me, I think the goal is just to keep having fun with my stream, and like further it more and further all of my content, whether that be through TikTok, YouTube. But I don't know, because, you know, we both play MLB The Show as our main game of streaming. I know you, and props to you, you do switch it up a little bit. You've played Elden Rings, you played Dark Souls, you played Goat Simulator, you know, you've done a lot of
Ghost Simulator fucks my internet.
and of course all the scary games. You did Until Dawn, you've done Resident Evils. Yeah. So but for me, I've only ever done MLB, NHL, and Virtual Casino. And I think the Virtual Casino is one of the best things I've done, because I don't necessarily want to promote gambling, because I know there's a lot of kids on Twitch. So it's like my goal was not obviously to promote gambling to people, but my goal was to just do something different that I thought that I could at least have fun with, because I know, you know, that when it comes to MLB, it's a very easy to talk video game to play, because you can actually fucking take a pitch for once in your life. If you're like, I'm gonna put the controller down and look at my chat and be like, okay,
I swing at the first pitch.
yeah. But when I played NHL, it's like there's 30 seconds in between periods, or maybe if you get a whistle, you have 5, 6, 10 seconds to kind of like do something. So it's like you get a whistle, you look over, and it's not that bad to chat with. I don't know how anybody plays NBA and chats, because you
Call of Duty.
literally get 10 seconds at intermission, and that's it. There's like, maybe if you take your time out and sit there for the whole minute, that's the only other way. But, or yeah, like you said, Call of Duty. I don't know how COD streamers, especially like a Nick Merckx, who the chat's just like, I don't know how at that point you don't even pay attention to your chat. It's about you being entertaining and maybe looking over once in a while and catching a message.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot for a lot of people. It's like, even if we push the podcast live, we have to focus on the episode that we have planned. We can't really get derailed by a lot of comments. I know we want to push it live, but that's one of the things that I think about in the future. So when it comes to me, it's like, I really just want to, like, I don't know. Again, I don't really know. I think the one thing that I've thought about is having like a show, like a morning show or something like that, where I stream and it's just me kind of like reacting to things. But that's kind of what the podcast is to me now. So I don't know. Maybe finding a new game other than MLB and diving into that. I really don't know. But I think it's, for me, in the next year, growing my content everywhere, growing the podcast. And I think when it comes to not content is working on the voices, because I don't know how to get into voice acting. I don't know what the first step is. You know what I mean? Like, how do you even find an agent? I don't know what the first step of real acting is. So I think that's kind of where I'm at. I know I have a lot
If
of like
agent wants to pick up WalnutGlut, feel free to email us at dwpodcast1@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, continue. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, it's just like, so I know I got a lot of irons in the fire right now, but it's just like, I guess I always kind of have. You saw the 3 YouTube channels at the beginning.
Yeah.
How
many YouTube channels do you have?
Oh God.
Oh boy.
We got the action figure one. We got the backyard wrestling one. We got the sketch comedy. We got the advertising cinematic universe. We have WalnutGlut, obviously, which I think I have like 2 shorts on there. And we have my personal one that all my advertising shit sits on. And I have a burner one for Reddit, which I won't dox myself for. But those are my 7 accounts and my 7 YouTube accounts that I have.
Okay. So, all right. So basically, you just want to, take your stuff to the next level, over the next couple of years. And I do see, like you said, when it comes to you doing the gambling streams, the online casino stuff, it's a different Walnut than, when you play MLB.
Right.
I feel like we all fall into this. I know consistency. A lot of people talk about, you can't grow. You have to stick to one thing until you grow to a certain point. And that's great. Some people it's going to work for, it's going to get them to a certain point. But just from, YouTubers that I see, one that I've noticed, his name's TD Presents. I don't know if a lot of he's a younger kid. But he was a Madden streamer a lot. He did IRL stuff. He did he did a lot of NBA 2K drafts, and so like he changed it up, and every time he changed, you would see a growth in what he did, like in his sub count and viewership and stuff like that. So I don't believe in sticking to the same thing, and that's what I want to say about you when you do your your online casino streams. It's like I see a different Walnut, and I see you actually having some fun. MLB can sometimes be so monotonous, especially when the game isn't good.
Yeah.
And they make hundreds of millions of dollars to put out shit and then make excuses for that shit. But we don't need to get into that. But I do, like I said, I out of everyone that I know, everyone that in our group here, I respect you. One of the most. I have a lot of respect for Ghost Snowman. Ghost Snowman has a lot of drive, and I see. He likes to be a little humble himself, and we all talk about the younger streamers, but older, us older guys. I'm not as old as you guys yet, but us older guys, we're coming from a different place. You came from a media section where you started out playing with action figures and doing stop motion on a $15 camera.
Yeah.
To where you have a career, you're working on a Mac, but you're also streaming. Now we finally started the podcast. Podcast going nothing but up from here. And then if you do, you're only in your early 30s.
Yeah.
Your life barely started. You know what I mean? If you want to do the voice acting, we get the podcast going. We get it rumbling. Maybe we get an agent to call in, and they're like, "Hey, I heard Master Roshi. We opening a new season.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're doing a prequel to the prequel of Dragon Ball.
Right.
Let's get this guy in here. You know what I mean? And that's what I want to see for you. And I just when someone is happy in streaming, just like take it from myself. My last stream I feel like was the most fun, and it was because I didn't take the game as seriously.
Yeah.
But when you're playing a game like MLB and like you said, like Call of Duty and stuff like that with the Nick Mercs, he can't really pay attention to chat because people are there to watch him to be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But there's other people Daddy Dimu is he's got 2,000-3,000 people in his chat almost every night. It's like you can't his chat. I mean, he streams a little later at night, so I think people are a little more quieter. But like his chat is moving. Like I would have problems with his chat. Like if I was in his spot, maybe not, because you grow to that point and you evolve with it, and maybe it gets easier to manage as you grow. I'm not sure. Obviously, maybe we get him on the podcast one day and ask him.
If he decides to bless us, you guys will find out in the Jason episode. But Daddy Dumu is the reason why I downloaded Twitch, or the reason I kept watching Twitch. I had Twitch 12 years. We both our accounts are like 5 days apart or something like that.
Yeah.
It was just kind of weird. But no, yeah, like you said, and he's not the greatest MLB player in the game, but he's entertaining, and he's been doing it for so long.
Exactly.
And that's a lot of people need to, got to understand. This is this game of content creation it's a slow game. Like this isn't. Not everybody can get to 1.5 million views like that and leave the partnership email sitting in the inbox for 2 months, like a young walnut glut. But no, I definitely, like I said, I see when I go to your streams, I try to go as much as I can. We always, you're always popped up on a phone or a computer in my house somewhere. But I see a different level to where some people are at. And I really, like I said, I really respect it. The content value of just what you've shown me to where you're at now. Even your TikToks. Your TikToks are on a different level. And I know, I don't know if we want to dox anybody. I know Ghost of Snowman, you and Ghost of Snowman, you guys kind of took your TikTok game to another level. And it's not, it's not 4K cameras and going around asking people if they want to kiss you or slap you or anything like that.
Right.
But I don't know if you want to show a TikTok of yours, but even just from last year to this year, you made one TikTok where you did a voiceover, you had Biden talking over you about the glitch of the game, and it blew up because not because it was like the most ingenuitive, it wasn't like boom, bam, explosions all over the place. It was just the creation of it, the thought of it fits so perfect with the way the runs were counting up and the way Biden, Sleepy Joe,
Guess what? It grows the economy. Benefits everybody. Hurts nobody. Guess what?
Yeah, and that's 185,000 views. Like it's wild, really.
And it's I think that was like the first TikTok of yours I've seen that blew up.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it comes from that. Like I said, you see it a little bit, but you don't see it a lot.
Yeah.
So when you go into your TikToks, what is kind of because TikToks are small. They're like snippet, like some of them are snippets, some of them are little things. Well, what do you think you take different from a TikTok than you would a video? Like what's your process for a TikTok?
Well, TikTok is like all about like, your quick, punchy. It doesn't even really have to be quick. This one's pretty long, but it's like, people don't have quick attention, or they do have quick attention spans on TikTok. So you kind of just need to get in there. And like, with this Nelson Cruz one, I think it's like 12 seconds long or 8 seconds long rather. Like,
Nelson, I got a big dick and look at
Hey,
his
yo.
swings when I walk Cruz.
so it's just like, I don't know. It's just all about like, again, it's more about having fun. And I don't know. In my mind, I think the shorter content, the little peek, I think that's what it is. It's little peeks into your streams. It's like how you run your stream. It's like you're gonna hear me say that kind of shit if you're in my stream. It's not that I think that TikTok is like you can't really go viral on TikTok and make money off of it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like a YouTube video, for instance. Whereas YouTube, it's like, I think it needs to be more around the production value, more around you yourself and how you're treating that kind of content. Because Twitch streams versus YouTube videos, and I think a lot of creators have seen this, is like when you just take your VOD and you throw it on YouTube, it's like it feels different because you're chatting with your chat versus like, oh, we're making a gameplay video. I have a certain thing in my mind that I want to say and do. So it's like, that I think that's where that mentality comes from.
So it's a different audience.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's kind of what you're saying. Like when it comes to Twitch, your chat is there. You're talking. It's kind of more of a reactive type thing, to where YouTube and TikToks, there's a specific message you're trying to convey.
Right.
Is that kind of what?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say this one thing about everything, like when it comes to advertising and streaming and stuff like that. I think it's the funniest thing of like being on stream as a young 30-year-old. How many times have we been called old? Like, you know what I mean? All the time. Old. Yeah. I might be one of the youngest still in, like, when I go to an office in advertising. Like if I'm sitting in a group of 10 people, I might actually still be the youngest person in that group. So
Yeah.
it's really weird to me to be on one side in my career and being actually young, and then going on Twitch and just being this old man, right? So it's just like, I don't know. That's what I love so much about content itself, is like, I think it gives you a nice look. Again, like when I think about content creation, are all these guys that play MLB The Show, are they going to be 45 and playing MLB The Show?
Exactly.
15 years from now, I think their content's going to evolve, because a lot of them are going to get worse at the game as their age gets older. As they get older, they're going to lose their hand-eye coordination, like we fucking obviously have, and they're not going to be as good as the game. So if you're not as good, are people really going to watch you? If you're funny, they are. Like Daddy Dimu, like he could probably play. And again, if he gets sick of the game, he can switch to Madden. He clearly has. He played Pokemon with 500 people or 1,000 people. Like, it didn't matter what he did. And I know a lot of people have said that to almost all of us. I think if you're a streamer, people just go, don't care what other people think, just do it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest thing of like just taking your time, especially if you're young. If you're younger than us and you're doing this shit, you're on the right track, because you're only gonna learn new things as long as you're doing it. You gotta keep doing it. Like, if you give up and do something else, that's totally okay too. It's whatever you want in your life, like whatever your passion is, as you said before. Like, if you honestly get a passion for art and want to go paint pictures for the rest of your life, then do it. Like, because I think like that's the biggest thing. You got to love what you're doing. And I wouldn't say you would never work a day in your life, because content creation is fucking hard. I don't care who you are. If you're a person that goes, oh, why don't you have a real job? You try content creation for a month. You try it for a year. You try it for any amount of time. Guarantee you give up, especially if you don't have passion for it.
And that's why the podcast recording for last week didn't work out, because you have to, like, I realized that we sat there and we talked, and we were just like, okay, we have to have a plan. We have to be organized, because this isn't, the podcast is for us, but we're not making it for us. We're not making this just to keep on our phones and look at it and watch it and laugh at ourselves. We're doing it for other people to watch.
Yeah.
And like Walnut said, if you're younger than us and this is what you're doing, if content creation is what you want to do, you have to work at it. You have to continue. Don't give up.
Yeah.
And just to kind of go to the path of Walnut, you can start somewhere and you're just like, this ain't for me. And then you can move to backyard wrestling. And then you're like, maybe people won't watch that. And then you do little adverts where you do a Snapple commercial, and then you just go from there. And then maybe you get some education. Maybe you get the software. Maybe you get the hardware. Maybe you do take those next steps. And so my last question, for Walnut was going to be, what would you say to someone who wanted to do content creation? But he kind of answered it already.
Well, I would like to say one more thing, at least, because it just came into my mind of like
There
something that I think about a lot too, as somebody who's 30 and starting on Twitch and being like, God, I wish I started 5 years ago. Is that don't let that, like, I know I started when I was 14. You don't need to be 14. You started when you were 29. You know what I mean? Like, you started content creation when you were 29.
It's 28.
28.
I have a whole story to that. You
Right.
guys check out the next podcast.
Podcast. Yeah. So this, and again, we wanted to, like, we will get back to the fun stuff and the documentaries and all the fun shit, but we wanted to take time where, like, people don't really know who we are. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, I mean, we went through kind of my my upbringings and stuff like that. But like I said, like, don't let how old you are be the factor of like, I don't want to do this, because I've seen people who are even in their 40s and they're in their 50s on Twitch, and they're doing it and they're having fun. Maybe they're not partner yet, but like, I see it and I'm like, I see their numbers and it's like, it's impressive. Even if you don't get to partnership, even if you have 40 people in your chat, even if you have 20 people in your chat, as long as you have a tight knit community and you're having fun, you're gonna grow no matter what. So just keep at it and just learn new things every day. No, it doesn't have to be editing specifically, but like getting a new trend in your mind. If you have an editor, like, get them on that new trend. You know what I mean? Always just keep yourself curious and maybe even try to set a trend yourself. You never know what can happen. So
yeah. All right. Well, just, with saying all that, I definitely, I feel like I got all the questions out and I got into the mind of Walnut. Not the Walnut, one of my best friends, Walnut, but the the content creator Walnut, and why I learned, why I have so much respect for you, and I can see it. And as you, like you said, as you were saying things, I putting two to two together. So it was a great insight for me, but also like Walnut said, we wanted to make these episodes for people who don't know us and don't know why would we do what we do. We did say why we started streaming in kind of the first episode, but I wanted to kind of delve a little bit more about Walnut. So now you guys know. And if you have any questions at all for Walnut, maybe, or about content creation, maybe editing, anything like that, you can put it down in the comment section below. Like I said, we're getting it, the podcast up on Spotify, iTunes. We have TikToks up, follow the TikTok, Spotify. Subscribe to the channel. That's one thing I feel like we've been lacking on. Content creators, you always got like to call for action, do that stuff like that. Hey, y'all subscribe. If you're watching that video, we see that you're watching the video. Yeah. I can see you. So subscribe. All right. Hey, and then y'all come back and see us. All right. Hey, I appreciate everybody stopping by. Walnut, thank you so much for letting me kind of pick your brain a little bit.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was a great episode, I feel like. Hey, y'all have a good one. Stay safe.